Funk versus Kevin Sullivan, accompanied to the ring by Fallen Angel. Mixed tag. Loser gets their head shaved. Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert and Medusa Michelli take on Luna Vachon and Cactus Jack. It's First Blood. Bam Bam Bigelow going up against Dirty Doug Gilbert. Our New Japan match. Flying Owen Hart takes on Takayuki Azuka. A TWA title match. The current champion, JT Smith, goes up against number one contender, DC Drake, managed by woman. A TWA tag title match and a battle royal. Last Blood rules, Armageddon 1. The only one to not bleed is the winner. Autumn Armageddon 2. Saturday, September 21st, 7:30 p.m. Philadelphia Civic Center, Pennsylvania Hall. Make your reservations now. 745-8315. Check the Civic Center box office, the Ticketmaster outlets, but be there for Gory Hallelujah. Saturday, September 21st, 7:30 p.m. Be there!
All right, good morning and welcome to 610 WIP's Rasslin Radio. My name is Joel Goodhart, and of course for the next hour, we'll be talking about the sport of professional wrestling and a lot of things happening in the sport. We'll be talking about SummerSlam, but I do want to introduce first, live in the studio here, someone, a very special guest that I know a lot of you wrestling fans would love to have the opportunity of talking to. With me now, Kevin Sullivan. And Kevin, welcome to 610 WIP.
Joel, thank you very much. I've been waiting to be a guest here for a long time, and finally you lifted the ban and allowed me to come to Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love.
Oh, here we go. We're going to have some fun today for sure. Kevin will be here to answer any questions you might have. Of course, we'll be talking about the state of WCW. Of course, we'll be talking about Kevin Sullivan's upcoming match with Terry Funk and a host of other things. Fallen Angel finally coming out of her shadow and coming back and reappearing with Kevin Sullivan here in Philadelphia. But, of course, a lot of you will also want to talk about SummerSlam. For those of you who did not get to watch SummerSlam or be in New York at Madison Square Garden, the two belts that were on the line did change hands. Bret Hart, the new Intercontinental Champion, defeating Kurt Hennig. The Legion of Doom defeating the Nasty Boys, which makes the Legion of Doom the first tag team in history to hold all three major belts, the NWA Tag Team Belt, the AWA Tag Team Belt, and the WWF Tag Team Belt. And for those of you who follow the WWF and believe in belts, the $1 Million Belt also changed hands as Virgil defeated Ted DiBiase. So we'll be talking about SummerSlam. I'm sure many of you want to rate SummerSlam in addition to talking to Kevin Sullivan. In WCW, last Sunday at the Omni in Atlanta, Sting won the title and is now the new U.S. Heavyweight Champion. And we will talk about Sting's role now in WCW. Also tonight, for those of you who are looking for a wrestling card to go to, the IWA is having a small card over at Garden State Racetrack at 7 o'clock, so you're certainly invited to come on out. Something interesting is starting to develop in the city, aside from the fact that both major organizations, I think, are smart enough to stay out of the city in September since they're going to go up against the largest independent card in the history of professional wrestling. Both organizations are going to run the card on the same day at different times. On October 19th at 2 o'clock, the Philadelphia Spectrum will, of course, host the WWF, and that evening at 8 o'clock, the WCW guys will be making an appearance in Philadelphia. So October 19th, everybody's staying out of town until then. They're going to run on the same day. Bar Wars, of course, coming up on October 1st at 7:30 p.m. We'll be talking about that as well. So we've got a lot of things to talk about. The phone number is 592-0610, New Jersey 963-0610, and on the Bell Atlantic mobile system, it is a free call by just dialing star 610. And while I do have the opportunity, Kevin, last Sunday and last Saturday, I was up in New York City, actually out in Queens at that wrestling convention that was hosted by John Resley in New York. And I got to tell you, I got to spend about 6 hours talking to Nature Boy Buddy Rogers. It was absolutely fantastic. Had the opportunity of finally sitting down and talking to Lou Thez. Of course, my friendship with Billy Graham, we sat and talked a while over there. Cornette was there. Woman was there. It was just a great time, and of course, Nature Boy Ric Flair was also there for both days, as he committed to. And it was just one of those great opportunities of getting a lot of wrestling fans. There had to be a couple thousand people there. For those of you who are interested, Ric Flair did auction off a robe that went for $3,000. And we just had a lot of fun. So for everybody who went up to the wrestling convention in New York, I do want to thank them for stopping by our TWA booth. We certainly were the talk of the convention, and we do thank you. And it's amazing to me how many people have called me this week in ordering tickets for Autumn Armageddon from New York. And that kind of segues into the fact that our phone line at 745-8315 is open right now. It is being manned. So if you'd like to call in and order your tickets for Gory Hallelujah, this is certainly the time to do it. Well, Kevin, you were in New York the other night. You were in Philly last night. You'll be in Baltimore tonight, Norfolk on Sunday. You enjoy the road?
I certainly do. It's been a lot in my life, and I enjoy the road. But you mentioned something about last week in New York. You had the old era and the new era combined. Buddy Rogers, to me, was one of the greatest world champions, as everybody knows. Lou Thesz was. And I want to get right to the point right now. You mentioned a man named Ric Flair.
Mm-hmm.
He is the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. He never lost the belt, so all the people out there, if they're wondering who the world champion is, the world champion happens to be a man called Ric Flair, not Hulk Hogan or not Lex Luger.
Well, we have a saying around here that to be the man, you got to fire the man, because it seems to be the only way. I'll tell you, Rick certainly was the star of the convention in a way. People were asking him a million different questions, and my sources are telling me that when he goes into the WWF, if in fact he goes in, now tomorrow is actually the first day that he could technically sign a contract with him. My understanding is that he's going to be doing a whole, he's going to start going in against Roddy Piper, or at least that's what he's targeting. And supposedly Roddy Piper has cut a spot, and he's coming up saying, "I scare Flair." And they're going to start doing something with this "I scare Flair." I don't know where it's going. I have trouble with Ric Flair being in the WWF, and today I just hope that someone in Atlanta wakes up and says, "Holy mackerel, tomorrow he can sign. We've got to do something."
It'd be nice to believe that could happen, but it isn't going to happen. No one in Atlanta is going to wake up today or tomorrow or maybe even next Friday.
Oh, God. What is happening with WCW? You're obviously involved with the people at WCW. You're on the road. You do television. Where's this organization going?
I think that eventually it will straighten itself out just like the Atlanta Braves, but it took the Atlanta Braves 15 years to straighten out. Let's hope it doesn't take 15 years for WCW to straighten out.
I don't know if I can wait that long.
No, it's become a corporate, as everybody else knows. They took the belt from Flair. Even the president of the company came out and said that it was a corporate decision to take the belt out away from him. I've never even heard of anything in any alliance, any other profession, whether it be boxing, kickboxing, or even soccer, to take a belt away from somebody from a corporation. In the next few months, we're going to have to wait and see, because it's gone in a very strange direction.
It's funny. I was at the card last night, obviously, and it was a small crowd, and everyone kind of expected a small crowd, it being Labor Day weekend in Philadelphia. Even a corporation that supposedly has the intelligence of a TBS, who can put together a Goodwill Games, who can probably put together the largest cable company in the world, doesn't seem to realize that the time to run in Philadelphia is not Labor Day weekend and then on a Friday night on top of that.
Well, I hate to squeeze the golden goose, but the Goodwill Games, they lost a admitted $88 million. So
minor detail.
I don't know how intelligent that deal was, but to run on Labor Day weekend in Philadelphia is just absurd. Obviously, there's a lot of people that have a lot of influence that don't know anything about living in the Northeast.
Yeah. There's no question. These people must live in Atlanta, think that the whole world is... Well, anyway. All right, we're going to talk with Kevin Sullivan, 592-0610 in Pennsylvania, New Jersey 963-0610, and on the Bell Atlantic mobile system, it's a free call by just dialing star 610. Well, Kevin will go to the phones. I'm sure, if you want to ask Kevin a question about SummerSlam, we'll even have an answer about that as well. We go out to Runnymede, New Jersey. We'll talk to Don. You're on 610 WIP.
Hi, Joe.
How you doing?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, Mr. Sullivan...
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to thank you for many, many years of some of the greatest wrestling moments I've ever seen.
Well, I thank you, and I appreciate your kind words.
I'm one of your most dedicated disciples.
Oh, thank you.
I have two quick questions for you. I just wanted to know, the one-man gang's pretty good, but are you scouting any other talent?
Well, right now, I'm putting all my emphasis on the one-man gang. The one-man gang has a lot of potential, and of all the guys in WCW, the one-man gang has a little something that stands out in my mind, anyway.
Really?
Yes.
The guy's a raving lunatic. They get along well together.
Oh, I love watching them wrestle. But I also just wanted to ask you, whatever happened to the Purple Haze?
The Purple Haze has retired to Singapore. He now owns a very well-known establishment, eating and drinking establishment, and he spends his time traveling through Asia. He's very well off.
And I can't wait to see the Fallen Angel again.
I can't wait either. I've been away from home for 3 days.
Hey, thanks for calling.
Okay, thank you.
All right, take care. We'll see you September 21st. We go out to Eastwick. Anthony, you're on 610 WIP.
How you doing, Joe?
All right, how's it going?
All right, I want to talk a little bit about SummerSlam.
Yeah, sure.
I was just wondering about what you thought about the card.
Well, I have not seen it. All right. What happened was on Monday, I took the bus up to New York, and as I've said on the radio a million times, you got to take a stand. I am not a fan of the WWF product, and while the people on the bus went inside, I walked the streets of New York and read a newspaper and sat down and enjoyed myself.
Are you kidding?
No, not kidding. Now, I will tell you this, that the people that came on the bus, I always have people grade cards from a 1 to a 10. Everyone on the bus gave the card either a 7 or an 8, which is a very positive, especially on a pay-per-view. The calls that I've gotten all week long have been extremely positive, and then as the week went on, I started getting a lot of the negative people calling. But it seems that, more people gave it a plus than a minus for sure.
Well, I was just laying here this morning. I was just praying that you weren't going to put it down because it was a very entertaining card.
You see, people just think, look, I understand I have a reputation. I'm not going to rip up something. Now, the people have told me that the Bret Hart-Kurt Hennig match was excellent.
Fantastic.
All right, now I'm getting a copy of it, so I'll be able to watch it this weekend. I was told that the wedding wasn't as good as a lot of people expected. Everyone told me that Kurt Hennig looked hurt and obviously has been hurt. A lot of the other matches were this, that, and the other thing. A lot of people were surprised that Sid Vicious came out and started posing with Hogan. But whatever the case might be, most people seem very positive on the card and gave it a plus. Now, like I said, I've talked to people since who have absolutely blown it apart, but I certainly can't grade anything I didn't see.
And I wanted to say something to Kevin Sullivan. Him and the one-man gang are a great combination.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. And I have to agree with you about the SummerSlam. I'm going to give it a plus, too. I thought it was excellent and well done. The thing is, Joel said that he's not such a big fan of the WWF. If you looked at the card, it was a WCW card.
It's funny when you think about it. You even like the Bret Hart, Kurt Hennig, Legion of Doom, Nasty. You happen to be right. It really was an NWA card.
The title match, the tag team title match, was a very good match also.
Yeah, like I said, most people have given it a plus for sure. What'd you give it, 1 to a 10?
I would say about an 8.
Okay, you got it.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks, James.
Bye-bye.
All right, take care. We go out to Roxborough. Chris, you're on 610 WIP.
How are you doing today?
All right, how's it going?
Kevin Sullivan.
Yes, sir.
How are you doing tomorrow?
Tomorrow, I don't know how I'm doing, but today I'm doing so-so.
That's great. Listen, I just wanted to make a comment to you, Kevin. I think that you can round up some really great talent. You have that ability, with the varsity club and rounding up the one-man gang. You have a tendency to bring them all together to really raise some havoc around the world of wrestling.
Well, thank you. Some of them I have put together have been very, very successful. And Mike Rotundo's successful now in the WWF, and obviously Snyder's very successful in WCW, and I'm sure the gangs will be just as big in the WCW.
Okay. Joe, I have one comment. I wanted to try and get a hold of you last week, but it was just too busy on the phone.
Sure.
It was in reference to Ric Flair, of course.
Yeah.
Can you really blame a guy like Ric Flair?
Nope.
If you look at what's going on, okay, the WCW, of course, as it's well written, is turning into as much of a circus as the WWF has been for a while. So why not go where the bigger money is in the circus?
Oh, I'm not knocking Ric Flair at all. My only concern, and I express this just in terms of a wrestling purist, Ricky Steamboat to me is one of the top wrestlers in the world.
Right.
When Rick Steamboat had the matches with Ric Flair, it was some of the greatest matches I've ever seen. Okay? I don't see Rick Steamboat doing the same quality of wrestling now that he blows fire, wears a fancy costume.
Right.
My concern is that Ric Flair, as Kevin Sullivan before said, he is the world champion without any question and will always be the world champion in my eyes. I don't want to see him now go over there, suddenly become a different Ric Flair, start working 4 to 5 minute matches when the best Ric Flair is when he does 30, 40, 50 minute matches. I want to see the Ric Flair that I've seen for years. I don't want to see him change like Rick Steamboat has changed. And I certainly don't blame him for going over the money. Look, Vince calls me tomorrow with the right amount of money. I'm going too. I think, my price just might be a little higher. I mean, the point here is that Ric Flair made a business decision, as did WCW. I think that Flair was making the right decision. I think WCW made a major screw up.
Now, I also had 2 questions about SummerSlam.
Sure.
Okay, the first one was, who went to jail?
The Mountie went to jail.
Mountie went to jail, of course. I hope that they sodomized him. Anyway. And the other question was, so what was Sid Vicious? I cannot call him Sid Justice.
Okay.
What was his final decision?
I remember Hogan pinning Slaughter, but the bottom line here is Justice is now a good guy. Supposedly he went in the back again. I have not seen it. Hogan was doing his shtick with the posing or whatever. He called Sid Justice out, and they started posing together. And so Hogan is now showing Sid how to pose, as if he never knew how to pose before.
Oh, boy, what a loss.
Hey, we thank you for calling.
Thank you.
All right, take care. You're listening to 610 WIP's Rasslin Radio, where our Rasslin Radio time is 8:13.
New at Sears. PM 2000 by Monse. The environmentally safe driveway sealer is now on sale at Sears for only $15.99 for 5 gallons. Regularly $18.99. PM 2000 is easy to stir, fills hairline cracks, and lasts longer. You'll save time and money by resealing your driveway less often. Now is the time to beautify and protect your driveway. PM 2000 on sale at Sears for just $15.99. Sale ends Saturday, September 7th, so don't delay. Rush over to Sears for all your driveway needs.
Autumn Armageddon 2, Saturday, September 21st, 7:30 p.m. Philadelphia Civic Center, Pennsylvania Hall. Gory, gory, hallelujah. Get your ticket by calling the Squared Circle, 745-8315, the Civic Center box office, or any Ticketmaster outlet for Gory, gory, hallelujah. Autumn Armageddon 2, Saturday, September 21st, 7:30 p.m. Be there!
You're having a birthday party for a child, and you're looking for something different. Well, how about a wrestling birthday party? That's right, the Squared Circle, in conjunction with the Tri-State Wrestling Alliance and Ringmasters Wrestling School, can have your child inside a wrestling ring for his birthday party. Live professional wrestlers, a wrestling match, and your friends will have a great time at the Squared Circle birthday party. 745-8315 for information and details. Travel agency of the Squared Circle and the Tri-State Wrestling Alliance. 335-1300. That's 215-335-1300. Yes, if you're looking for hotels, buses, or airlines, David Tours and Travel is the official stop. 335-1300. David Tours in Northeast Philadelphia. 215-335-1300. The official travel agency of the Squared Circle and the Tri-State Wrestling Alliance. All right, we're back here at 610 WIP's Rasslin Radio. My name is Joel Goodhart. Again, the phone numbers, if you'd like to talk to Kevin Sullivan, like to talk about SummerSlam or really anything else coming up, 592-0610 in Pennsylvania, 963-0610 in New Jersey, and on the Bell Atlantic mobile system. It's a free call by just dialing star 610. We go out to Lavallette, New Jersey. Richie, you're on 610 WIP.
Good morning, Joel. Good morning, Kevin.
Good morning.
I have 3 quick questions for you, Kevin. Number 1, could you recall for us your early days with the WWF? Number 2, have you ever wrestled Flair? And number 3, when you come wrestling in Philadelphia, are you going to be bringing your hammer?
I'll go to the first one. Yes, I did wrestle for the WWF when Vince's father had it, and all I can say is, for me, the McMahons are a class act of people. I've never worked for the son, but the father was a class act, and I enjoyed my time there. The second thing is, I will have my hammer in Philadelphia. The third thing is, I did wrestle Ric Flair one time in West Palm Beach, and it was a record house of West Palm Beach in the history of the building.
Okay, thanks, Kevin. We'll see you in Philly.
Thank you very much. I'm going to be there with not one hammer, but about 6, because I know Terry Funk's going to have 5 of them himself.
Hey, thanks for calling, Richie.
Right.
Take care. Alani, Terry, you're on 610 WIP.
Morning, Joe. How you doing?
All right, how's it going?
It's going great. Kevin, I got a question for you. First of all, I'm one of your biggest fans.
Well, thank you.
WCW. You're the best. I've been watching for a while, and one Saturday I woke up, and I hear this, that Lex Luger's the champion. What happened to Ric Flair?
Well, one Saturday...
Where have you been?
One Saturday I woke up and I heard the same thing.
Where have you... Ric Flair has got a contract problem with WCW and supposedly heading over to WWF.
Oh, God, please, no. No. They're going to turn this guy into some kind of circus act or some kind of freak over there.
Like Joel said, there was a contractual dispute. They came out and even wished him the best of luck and said that because it couldn't come to terms, he was no longer the world heavyweight champion. Somehow, that doesn't sit with me, and I'm sure it doesn't sit with a bunch of fans.
Oh, God.
Hey, we thank you for calling.
Thanks, Ron.
All right, take care. West Philadelphia, James, you're on Rasslin Radio.
Morning, Joel.
Hey, morning. How you doing?
Fine, how's it going?
All right, bro.
Joel, one thing about the convention.
Yeah.
Last week, you said Pat O'Connor was there.
Yeah, no, I'll tell you what happened. Here I am laying in bed, obviously doing the radio show, and one of my associates comes up to the room and passes me a note and says that Buddy Rogers is having breakfast with Pat O'Connor. So I quick read it off, and then as we go off the air, I said, wait a second, Pat O'Connor just passed away. He was having breakfast with Lou Fez.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, we'll make that correction noted.
Okay, on to Kevin. How you doing?
Yes, sir.
I have a couple of quick questions. First of all, you managed Mark Lewin.
Yes, I did.
And I was wondering, as far as the first United States Tag Team Champions, I'm not sure who it was. It was either the Graham brothers or Lewin and Don Curtis. Could you shed some light?
The first U.S. Tag Team Champions were Curtis and Lewin, and the Grahams defeated them. Mark Lewin, as I said earlier, was a very good friend of mine. He's spending his time in Asia, feasting and rejoicing on Oriental delights. And once in a while, I do see Mark in Honolulu. He's doing fine.
Oh, okay. And what was the first major title you ever held?
I think the first major title I ever held was the old U.S. heavyweight title out of San Francisco, when Roy Shires had an area there.
All right, thanks a lot.
All right, thank you for calling.
Joel.
Yeah.
Do you realize there's no delay?
No, I didn't.
Yes.
All right, well, Andy know about that.
Better take care of that.
All right, take care.
Bye.
All right, be good. No 7-second delay, and we take James from West Philly to figure that all out. Let me ask you a question. Any chance here of getting Mark Lewin out of retirement at some point?
I certainly would like to get Mark Lewin out of retirement. I learned a lot from Mark Lewin. I used to enjoy myself just watching Mark Lewin, especially when he was in Texas. He raised havoc as the Maniac. If anybody has old tapes out there, and I know people do swap tapes back and forth, if they want to see something that was really, really what wrestling was, get a tape of Mark Lewin.
And we can get Mark Lewin and Kevin Sullivan. We get Bob Roop. Well, we could really...
We certainly could. We could bring back a lot of nostalgia.
Bring Florida to Philly. All right, tell you what, let's take another break. We're listening here on 610 WIP with Kevin Sullivan. You're talking professional wrestling. Our Rasslin Radio time, 8:20.
Autumn Armageddon 2, Philadelphia Civic Center, Pennsylvania Hall, Saturday, September 21st, 7:30 p.m. Gory, hallelujah. The main event, a barbed wire steel cage match. Abdul the Butcher takes on the original Sheik. The devil made him do it. Terry Funk versus Kevin Sullivan, accompanied to the ring by Fallen Angel. Mixed tag. Loser gets their head shaved. Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert and Medusa Machili take on Luna Vachon and Cactus Jack. It's First Blood. Bam Bam Bigelow going up against Dirty Doug Gilbert. Our New Japan match. Flying Owen Hart takes on Takayuki Iizuka. A TWA title match. The current champion, JT Smith, goes up against number one contender, DC Drake, managed by woman. A TWA tag title match and a battle royal. Last Blood rules, Armageddon 1. The only one to not bleed is the winner. Autumn Armageddon 2. Saturday, September 21st, 7:30 p.m. Philadelphia Civic Center, Pennsylvania Hall. Make your reservations now. 745-8315. Check the Civic Center box office, the Ticketmaster outlets, but be there for Gory, hallelujah. Saturday, September 21st, 7:30 p.m. Be there!
If you're looking for the best in wrestling photography, 462-4215 is the phone number to call. It's a 215 area code for Pete's Place, located in South Philadelphia. This guy's got 30,000 photos. In fact, if you're looking for some of the great photos of Kevin Sullivan, then you got to call this guy, 462-4215. We've talked about Pete now since January. He's been with me for a guy about 6 or 7 years. This guy has got it on. If you're looking, you want to put a picture of Kevin Sullivan on a T-shirt, you want to put a picture of Kevin Sullivan on a puzzle. I don't know why you would, but if you want to put it on a mug, if you want to put Kevin Sullivan on anything, if you want to put him on a hammer, he could probably do it. 462-4215 is the phone number. Pete's Place, located in South Philadelphia. Give him a call right now. He'll pick up the phone. He'll answer any questions you have. You'll come down to Peach Place, see some of the great wrestling photos. Pete was the talk of the convention up in New York. He was showing some of the best old-time photos you'd ever want to see. 462-4215. That's Peach Place in South Philly. The number again, 215-462-4215.
Every time I hit a bump, my car tells me I gotta get new shocks.
Then you gotta get to Sears now. Because through September 4th, Sears' best shocks, struts, and cartridges are on sale. Save 20 to 25%.
And Sears Guarantee means I'm covered coast to coast, anywhere I drive.
Ask a Sears suspension specialist for warranty details and save up to 25% at the place that installs more shocks than anyone else.
Hey, who's gonna back you better than Sears?
Tennessee Tour 6. That's right, the Squared Circle is going back to Memphis, Tennessee for USWA Wrestling, January 10th to 14th, 1992. Make your reservations now for Tennessee Tour 6, 745-8315. Be a guest of Jerry Lawler and the USWA as we head south to Tennessee, January 10th to 14th, 745-8315 for Tennessee Tour 6. All right, back here at 610 WIP's Rasslin Radio, my special guest, Kevin Sullivan. Again, our hotline is open at 745-8315 if you want to call in and see Kevin Sullivan against Terry Funk as one of our matches at Gory Gory Hallelujah. Just dial that number. The phone is being manned right now. We can take your ticket order again, 745-8315. And I do want to shout out to New Jersey. Wake up. We've got a lot of open lines in New Jersey, so give us a call. We're going up to Allentown. Jim, you're on 610 WIP.
Okay, how you guys doing?
All right, how's it going?
Okay, I just got two simple questions for Kevin Sullivan. I just want to know how you felt about 2 years ago, the WWF hoax when they transformed the one-man gang, I know he's your main man, into Akeem. I just want to know your feelings on that when that happened.
You know, sometimes there's the things you have to do because you have families and you have to make a living. I didn't think it was the most brightest thing, but I'm probably not the most brightest guy either. It made him a lot of money, but the one-man gang to me is the one-man gang. The Akeem is a different character completely.
Okay, and I just want to know your opinion. Do you ever think the Macho Man, Randy Savage, is ever going to wrestle again?
Yeah, I definitely think he will. Randy Savage to me is one of the greatest talents in the wrestling business today. I myself enjoy listening to him. I enjoy his interviews, and I definitely enjoy watching him perform. He is one of the best in the wrestling business today.
All right, we thank you for calling.
Okay.
Take care. You know, Kevin, talking about interviews, it seems like wrestling has lost the art of the interview. I used to watch some of the Florida tapes, not to watch you wrestle, but to do some of your classic interviews.
Well, I think that there, again, in the WCW, there are people that don't know anything what wrestling is about. I know that Dusty Rhodes, whether people like him or not, drew a lot of money, and the reason why he drew all that money was that he could interview. King Curtis Akea was the greatest interviewer I've ever seen of all times. Bruiser Brody. If you go back in the last 10 years ago, the guys that drew a lot of money were great interviews, including Ric Flair, who to me, for his style, he's one of the best of all time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the art of the interview. I just used to look forward to watching TV. You know, we go down to Memphis once a year, now going twice a year starting next year, and you watch an hour and a half of live wrestling, and of the hour and a half, maybe 40 minutes of it is interviews. And the interviews, to me, really allowed the individual to show what they could do outside the ring, because you go to the house shows and you see it inside the ring.
Yeah, I like, as you said, Joel, the interview is a lost start. I've listened to some of the young guys that couldn't go on for 5 minutes, and there was the older guys that could go on for 15 minutes at a time. But the deal is because of the television time being so precious, and whoever controls the television show itself decides that maybe an interview time for people isn't as entertaining as a wrestling match, where, as you know, and I'm sure most of the fans know, I'd rather listen to a guy talk than watch a guy wrestle.
Oh, sure, no question about it. All right, we go out to West Philadelphia. Sadiq, you're on 610 WIP.
Hey, Joel, what's up?
All right, how's it going?
I was wondering, do you have results from this past Saturday night at the Spectrum?
No, I don't.
All right, and also I wanted to know, who did Sting defeat for the U.S. title in the whole tournament?
I don't know who was in the final. Kevin, were you down there?
Steve Austin.
Oh, he defeated Stunning Steve.
All right.
All right,
and Kevin.
Yes, sir.
What do you think about Sting winning the U.S. title?
I think Sting's one of the great talents in the wrestling business today. I think when he was world champion, he was a very good world champion. He wasn't Ric Flair, but I think he'll make a great U.S. champion. It'll take a good man to defeat him, and right now I can't see anybody in WCW defeating him.
All right, we thank you for calling. We go out to South Philadelphia. Al, you're on 610 WIP.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
I see where the Ultimate Warrior has been suspended by the WWF, and there's speculation that he won't be back.
There's no speculation. I announced that weeks ago.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, I just heard it.
Where'd you hear it?
On the fan.
Oh, okay. Well, the Ultimate Warrior, we announced about 3 or 4 weeks ago because we were one of the first to break the story. Had left the WWF. They kind of got him back in time for SummerSlam, and then we announced, I think, 2 weeks ago that he would come do SummerSlam and then would leave again. So, don't believe everything you're told.
What did he get suspended for? Do you know?
That's just a story. You know, we've talked about the WWF here on the air, and Kevin, I'm very honest with people. The WWF has openly come out and admitted that their product is predetermined, it's fake, it's this, it's that. So if they're talking about a suspension, there is no suspension. He's just leaving.
Oh, okay. I was wondering if Kevin would like to pick him up and manage him.
Right now, a guy that I don't know if he's manageable. I've watched him on television. Obviously, a man that's having problems up there, contractual problems. It'd be a hard man to manage, especially with all the money he's making. I mean, to me, if a guy walks away from a bunch of money, that means he's almost unmanageable.
Hey, we thank you for calling.
Thank you.
All right, take care. We go out to Huntington Valley. Warren, you're on 610 WIP.
Hi, how you doing?
All right, how's it going?
Good. Kevin, I've been a wrestling fan for 10 or 12 years, and I enjoy you very much.
Thank you very much.
Well, one of my questions is, with Jake the Snake Roberts, I used to love when you and him used to play the games with Barry Windham and Mike Graham in Florida.
Uh-huh.
Now, do you see Jake the Snake doing that with The Undertaker, or what do you make of it?
It looks like a rerun to me, doesn't it? Do you? I mean, you saw the old 10 years ago in Florida. It definitely seems that he's leaning more and more to the dark side. And The Undertaker and Percy are fantastic to me. I think they're some of the best stick in wrestling. But I look for the Jake to slip over more and more to the dark side because I know Jake personally, and he does live in darkness.
Yeah, I think it's a great gimmick for him. I think him and The Undertaker will be successful. And thanks a lot for the great years, Kevin.
Thank you very much.
All right, hopefully we'll see you down at the Civic Center on the 21st of September. We go out to Southwest Philly. Chris, you're on Rasslin Radio.
Hello, Joe.
Yes.
I wanted to ask Kevin Sullivan a question.
Go right ahead.
Kevin.
Yes, sir.
Are you going to be wrestling anymore?
Yeah.
I'm managing.
I'm going to be wrestling Saturday the 21st against Terry Funk.
All right, we thank you for calling. I see now, he had it all written down. And here we're talking about you. Well, let's talk about you and Terry Funk. This is going to be a wild match.
Some of the wildest matches of my life have been with Terry Funk. I'm not going to take anything away from Terry Funk. Terry Funk, as everybody knows, especially in Philadelphia, is one of the wildest men in professional wrestling. Unfortunately, that night, the 21st, Terry Funk's meeting the wildest man in professional wrestling, meaning myself. And Terry Funk, I want to let you know one thing. There's hammers, there's chairs, there's tables, there's 2x4s, there's crowbars, there's an automobile, there's everything in the world with your name on it, and if it's not nailed down, even if it is, you're still going to receive the brunt of it because I'm going to show you why I'm the wildest man in Philadelphia, including the Sheik and Abdullah the Butcher. They look like children next to me.
Uh-oh. Now, see, I always see these insurance premiums just keep rising and rising. Have there ever been a time, Kevin, in your career where Abdul the Butcher, the original Sheik, Terry Funk, and yourself have been in the same building at the same time?
It's never happened. No one ever had the nerve, Joel. You've gone one step beyond. I remember one time in Cobo Hall only 2 years ago where the Sheik was Dusty Rhodes' partner and I was Dick Murdoch's partner, and halfway through the match we changed partners and we left Murdoch and Rhodes laying. I mean, I look at your card, and your card is definitely an alternative wrestling match. I'd pay myself to see the Abdullah and the original Sheik in a barbed wire steel cage match. That is worth its weight in gold. Never mind the mixed tag team match, Eddie Gilbert and Medusa against Cactus Jack and Luna. You know, just recently in SummerSlam, we had the match made in heaven, Cactus and Luna. It's a match made someplace, but it's not made in heaven. Myself and Terry Funk, and there's plenty more. It's gonna be a great night.
Well, I'll tell you, I was talking on the phone with someone, and I said, you know, if there was ever a wrestling card that had Abdul the Butcher, the original Sheik, Terry Funk, Kevin Sullivan on it, that's worth the price of admission to begin with. But then you had Eddie Gilbert, Doug Gilbert, Bam Bam Bigelow, Medusa Michelli, Cactus Jack, Luna Vachon, Owen Hart will be in, Takayuki Iizuka from Japan will be in, one of the craziest battle royals ever, one of the our dog pound is going to be taking on the Blackhearts, who will be flying in from Japan, and obviously they are from Florida. I'm sure you're familiar with the Blackhearts coming up for a title match. It's crazy.
Yeah, the Blackhearts, I think if the people in Philadelphia have never seen them, are going to be completely amazed. They're very, very good, and to me, they're the next stars in any league.
Gory, hallelujah. And, you know, when I went and applied for the insurance for this thing, and I give the insurance company the name of the card, and suddenly my premiums, I get nervous. Every time I book these, see, I'm a wrestling fan. See, I look at this, I'm a fan. I want to see Funk and Sullivan and Sheik and Abdul all in one building at one time. And I only hope that you and Terry do your match, Sheik and Abdul do theirs, and kind of like never the twain shall meet.
Well, I'll tell you what. The two people that you're talking about, first of all, there's bad blood between me and Terry Funk. Goes back ever since I've known his brother and his father. I mean, you can't ever trust the Funk. It's that clear and simple. But Abdullah, the Butcher, and the original Sheik, I've had problems with these guys many, many times. And, Joel, I just hope you have a separate dressing room. I don't want to even see these guys, because if I see them backstage, I don't know what could happen.
Oh, God. All right. Alicia in Wilmington, you're on 610 WIP.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Kevin. Joel, judging by what you've been telling us about your upcoming card, I was wondering if I could possibly apply for the concession for the umbrellas and raincoats.
Yeah, I'll tell you two stories. Somebody called me and asked me if we were like a Gallagher concert. Okay, if you know anything about Gallagher, everybody on the front rows bring raincoats and umbrellas. Absolutely. It's, hey, all I can tell you is, you know, we are billing this card as potentially the most violent wrestling card in history, and we certainly have all the right equipment here, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Kevin, just wanted to tell you I've enjoyed watching your career for years, since the WWF, and I was just wondering, for you to comment possibly, you too, Joel. Joel, you've talked a lot about, in the light of all this steroid controversy and things like that, about the average size person being able to wrestle. You know what you're saying? You know,
sure.
Why you have to be 6'8", you know, to get into the ring. Kevin, do you see the average strong athlete, the average size person, is going to be able to make a name in this sport, being with the federations as they are?
Yeah, I definitely do. I think the 90s we're going to see a big change. I think we went through the 80s of the big body craze, and wrestling lost something. And people know it has. Right now, it's going to come back. The 90s, we're going to see a new phase. I think the 90s, the culture itself is a lot cleaner culture. The upper white collar crime and drug use is going to be down. In whether steroids is a real hard drug is not my decision to make. But obviously, it's a foreign substance that shouldn't be in your body. I think that in the next few years, you'll see guys that have talent, like, even though I can't stand his guts, Terry Funk. You know, Terry Funk, we know he could never use any steroids. He looks like Wile E. Coyote. But a guy like an Eddie Gilbert that's on the card, Doug Gilbert, Bam Bam Bigelow. Eventually, talent's going to come back and it's going to rule the wrestling business. It's going to rule quickly in the 90s.
I hope so. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Alicia.
Okay, bye-bye.
Take care. All right, Germantown. Jerry, you're on 610 WIP.
Hello, Kevin.
Yes, sir.
I admire you. You're such a great wrestler.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
I just wanted to ask you, why don't you, I'd rather you pursue teams like the Varsity Club. I mean, it was so great. You brought so much talent out in wrestling. You really put the NWA on the map in doing that. And I wish you would just get some more wrestlers and recruit them I just think you did a great job doing that.
Well, I appreciate that, and the guys I recruited, they were some of the greatest talents of all times. But right now, the recruiting jobs they do in WCW, if you're not a fireman or a police officer, it's like the village people. I'm not into the village people right now, so what I'm into right now is kicking Terry Funk's butt all over a building in Philadelphia the 21st of September.
But did you get rid of Elegante yet?
If I didn't get rid of him, someone should have. Even the Hawks got rid of Elegante.
Hey, we thank you for calling.
Okay, I just want to ask one more question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Who is the World Tag Team Champions in the WCW?
Right now, the belts are up in the air. They're having a tournament to decide who will become the champions because Scott's hurt his arm. I think the finals are at the Clash.
Yeah, the finals will be at the Clash. In fact, the Clash is this Thursday. It kind of reminds me to mention this. This Thursday night, 8:05, the Fall Brawl and the Clash of Champions on TBS. And, of course, for those who don't get cable, would like to stop on down, we'll be at Slack's Hoagie Shack down at the Port Richmond Village Shopping Center. All the wrestling fans of Philadelphia get together, have a couple steak sandwiches, and watch some good old-fashioned wrestling. Hopefully.
Okay. Thank you,
Hopefully.
Joe.
All right, we thank you for calling.
Okay.
Used to be a good old-fashioned wrestling, and it's a different story now. Northeast Philadelphia, Tim, you're on 610 WIP.
Hey, Kevin, how you doing?
Hello, how are you doing?
Okay, I really admire your career.
Well, thank you.
You made me a happy person when you came back to WCW.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
One question I wanted to know is, last year, or I think maybe 2 years ago, you teamed with Buzz Sawyer, and he broke his arm at Wrestle War.
Yeah.
Is you ever going to team with him again?
Buzz is going on to other ventures. There's a lot of people that don't know how good Buzz Sawyer was. In fact, if you really got to watch Buzz Sawyer every night, Buzz Sawyer was one of the best wrestling talents I've ever seen. That doesn't mean Buzz was really easily managed. Buzz had a wild streak, and what you saw in Buzz Sawyer on television was the persona Buzz Sawyer is. I'd love to team up with Buzz Sawyer again sometime because he is a man that gets the job done.
Yeah, that's what I really liked. Also, I want to know if you had so many, cliques. You had the varsity club and you had other teams. Are you ever going to amass a bunch of guys if you could have the talent that would rival any other former group, like even the Four Horsemen, that would just take out any good guys?
Yeah, well, if I was going to assemble a talent that would be take on anybody.
Yeah, anybody. Take on the good guys.
Yeah, well, if you look at Joel's card that he's having the 21st, Abdul the Butcher, Glenn Osborne, the original Sheik, Kevin Sullivan, and even the guy I'm wrestling, Terry Funk. How'd you like to meet us in an alley? And someone say, hey, how much money you got in your pocket? I certainly would rather meet the Four Horsemen than the guys that I just mentioned.
That also, last week they had Abdul the Butcher on, and he beat the crap out of Sting. Do you know who sent him? They keep saying someone sent Abdul the Butcher.
Well, I'm sure the only way that I could read this is there's going to be someone that's afraid of Sting, and the only guy that I could see that right at this present time could be afraid of Sting would be the WCW champion, Lex Luger.
Oh, okay.
All right, we thank you for calling.
Good luck, Kevin.
All right, take
Thank
care.
you.
All right, during that little course there, you mentioned Abdul the Butcher, the Sheik, Terry Funk, and you also mentioned the name of Glenn Osborne.
Glenn Osborne is a man that will follow me from the deepest part of Africa over the burning sands. I could strap him to the tree of woe. We could climb the plateau of fear because Glenn knows that once he follows me, he will reach enlightenment, just like the Dalai Lama, a personal friend of mine. When he has a problem, the Dalai Lama calls me. I bring him. I put him in the sweat box. He purifies himself. The fallen angel will maybe give him a little spanking or a whipping here and there. Glenn needs that. Glenn will see the light soon.
610 WIP, it's 841.
couple at random.
Yes.
What does European touring sedan mean to you?
Oh, that's
boy.
a fancy car sashing around the Alps,
Yeah,
right?
I say big bucks. Two fine answers,
Thank
but
you.
both wrong, since you evidently have not driven the Volkswagen Passat.
Oh, come on, get serious.
Well, that's exactly what the Passat is, sir. A come on, get serious road car loaded with German engineering.
Oh, yeah? Ooh.
So, like Europe's great touring cars, it has very civilized road manners, and you can enjoy Farfignugan without the big bucks.
Hey, great. Well, now we're getting serious.
Well, then get a Passat. Drive around, honk the horn. Maybe turn on the lights. Sure. Parallel park.
Ooh, oh, that'd be fun. That.
Oh, yeah.
On this Labor Day weekend, you start thinking of labor. You might want to be looking for a new career, a new job. And I want to remind you about J&A Circulation Sales. Their phone number, 215-357-5975. If you're looking for a change, if you're looking to make some more money, if you're looking to make some real dollars, John Pistelli and Anthony DeSimone of J&A Circulation Sales, certainly the people to call. If you have the ability to manage a teenage sales force, you have your own transportation, you want to deal with major newspapers in your area, these are the people to call. 215-357-5975. Again, the name is J&A Circulation Sales. I give these guys a call, talk to them. It doesn't cost you anything to talk to them. They might show you the way, to make a couple more dollars that we can spend some more money on wrestling. 215-357-5975. John Pastel and Anthony DeSimone, J&A Circulation Sales. The number again, 215-357-5975. If you're not already a season's ticket holder to the Tri-State Wrestling Alliance, the TWA is now taking applications. That's correct. You can be a season's ticket holder for 1992 as the TWA, where we wrestle, we brawl, we do it all, keeps getting bigger and bigger. January 25th, 1992, Winter Challenge. April 25th, Spring Spectacular. July 18th, Summer Sizzler. And October 10th, Autumn Armageddon. You can have the same seats for all 4 shows by simply dialing 745-8315. Be there ringside for the Tri-State Wrestling Alliance, and you can purchase your season ticket package now by dialing 745-8315 for the TWA Season Ticket Plan. We wrestle, we brawl, we do it all, and we do it all for you. Ringmasters Wrestling School is now here in Philadelphia. 745-8315 to find out when the next session of tryouts are. If you want to get in the sport of professional wrestling, if you want to be the best, then you have to learn at the best. Ringmasters Wrestling School. Make sure you write down the number 745-8315 to be a professional wrestler. Learn it at the Ringmasters Wrestling School. 745-8315. All right, we're back here at 610 WIP's Rasslin Radio. My name is Joel Goodhart. We're here with Kevin Sullivan, 592-0610 in Pennsylvania, 963-0610 in New Jersey, and on the Bellinic mobile system, a free call by just dialing star 610. We've got Tim, Jay, LaRosa, John, Van, Larry, Don, and Ed. We're going to try to get them all through here, make sure that you all get the opportunity of talking to Kevin. We'll start in Northeast Philadelphia. Tim, you're on 610 WIP. Yo, Tim.
Hello?
All right, Tim, go ahead. All right, thank you very much. Sewell, New Jersey. Jay, you're on Rasslin Radio.
Hi. Good morning, Joel, and good morning, Kevin.
Good morning.
I just had 2 comments. That the first one is that I went to the matches last night, and that tag team bounty match was like one of the most comedic matches I've ever seen in my entire life, because of 2 reasons. The first one is because of the sheer size difference of all 4 wrestlers. You know, you got, the Yellow Dog, who's like the average wrestler, and then the one-man gang, who's a little bigger, and then Oz, and then Elegante, who towers over them all. And the second reason is because of that hammer that came into play in the various places where you hit the Yellow Dog.
Yeah, certainly, and I'm sure that's the highest part of that whole match was the hammer. I mean, it's like you said, it was a very unusual match.
Yeah, I want to personally thank you for that.
Well, thank you very much.
And my second comment is that I got to agree with you. You are the wildest wrestler ever.
Well, I appreciate that, and as I said before, on the 21st, Terry Funk is going to find out firsthand again.
And I'll be there to watch you do it.
Thank you very much.
Hey, thanks for calling.
Take it easy.
All right, take care. Southwest Philly, LaRosa, you're on 610 WIP.
Hi, Joel. Hey, Kevin.
Hello.
I wanted to ask Kevin, who had to be your greatest opponent of all time, you would say?
Well, I appreciate that, and I'm sure that's the highest part of that whole match was the hammer. I mean, it's like you said, it was a very unusual match. Well, thank you very much.
I wanted to ask Kevin, who had to be your greatest opponent of all time, you would say?
Unfortunately, the man I'm facing the 21st of September, he is so devious that I have to reach down into the blackest part of my heart. I have to reach down into the cockles themselves and bring them out, because Terry Funk and his whole family's no good, even his brother Dory. And I hear he may show up to see Terry, and I hope he does, because I like to slap his big fat head.
Okay.
I get nervous. I'm done. Hey, thanks for calling.
Wait, Joe, can
Yeah.
I ask you something?
Yeah.
And the thing about SummerSlam, I really hate it was so cheap when Bobby Brain Heenan had that interview. Remember he went up to Hulk Hogan's door and they had a little piece of paper that said Hulk. Did you might not have seen that part, did you?
No.
It was so cheap. He went up to a door. You never seen Hogan's face, but just the door said Hulk on it.
Right.
It was
And-
so corny. And a couple of seconds later, Hulk Hogan slammed the door in his face.
Oh, maybe he deserved it. Hey, thanks for calling.
Okay.
All right, Clementon, New Jersey. Larry, you're on 610 WIP. Hello, Larry. Goodbye, Larry. Kensington, John, you're on Rasslin Radio.
Yes, I have a question for Kevin.
Sure.
Kevin, is there any possibility you might want to pick up Abdul the Butcher if he doesn't get managed in WCW?
I've had my share with Abdullah the Butcher on different occasions. He's another one. He's like Funk. He can't be trusted. He can't be controlled. He's a wild man. And I told Joel, when I get to that building the 21st of September, besides I don't want to see Funk, I don't want to see Abdullah the Butcher either.
Oh, my God. Thanks for calling Upper Darby. Ed, you're on 610 WIP.
Hi, my name's Joe from Deptford.
Oh, okay. All right, Joe from Deptford, how you doing?
All right.
What can we do for you?
I'd like to talk to Joe Goodhart.
You got me.
Oh, yeah.
Goodbye. Where'd he go? Well, see, that's what I like, intelligent people. North Philadelphia. Van, you're on Rasslin Radio.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
All right, how you doing?
Okay. Hey, Joe, have you ever thought about having the cars outside the street so you won't have to spend as much money for insurance?
No, I got news for you. The last time we had a car with Austin Idol and Buddy Landau, it's exactly where it ended up at.
I know. I was there.
There you go.
Kevin, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great, sir. Let me run something by you. What is Dusty Rhodes' position in WCW? As far as, I saw some shades of Dusty Rhodes when he came back.
Yes.
And I'm just curious as to, number one, did he have a part of Ric Flair's firing? If you can say.
Yeah, I can say, because I say anything I want to say. I don't know if he did, but you said something. You said when he first came back, you saw shades of Dusty Rhodes. I did too. Since that time, I haven't seen anything that would resemble a shade, even a sliver of darkness. I don't see anything of Dusty Rhodes anymore in WCW. Do you?
No, I don't. Joe, thank you. Kevin, thank you for the interview this morning.
You're welcome.
Hey, take care. All right, we go out to an old friend in Lindenwold. Don, you're on 610 WIP.
Well, good morning, Joe.
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm a little fair to middling. I got a little cold this weekend.
All right, what can we do for you?
But listen, Kevin Sullivan.
Yes, sir.
How you doing?
Good. If you get a little cold, I'll tell you, you need something to take, my man. I got it right here, back here. I get some mojo put on you, and it'll clear you right up.
I figured that. Listen, Kevin, what I wanted to ask you is, do you think that you'll be coming or have any possibilities of coming to the WWF and managing anybody in particular that you might want to manage over there?
No, I don't see that at all right now. I wouldn't see that at all. That is not what I'm interested in doing and perceiving. What I want to do right now is the 21st. The only thing I'm looking at is Terry Funk. I have a problem with Terry, and I've had it for years. And I don't want to bring up his family and say that they're lousy, they're dogs, they're lice, and I think their background should be really investigated. I think they come from a pack of coyotes. I wouldn't say that.
Okay.
But after the 21st, I want to get rid of Terry Funk. Will lead me on to other things.
Okay, listen, one more question, Joel.
Yeah.
I wanted to let you know, this morning I've been really entertained by Kevin Sullivan due to one thing. This is one of the rare times where you have had guests on your show and has not ripped the WWF or anything like that. And Kevin Sullivan, I want to applaud you for being a very objective and open-minded individual.
Well, thank you very much.
All right.
Hey,
Joel,
Don, thanks for
It was a 9. SummerSlam was a 9.
All right, we got you down for a 9.
Okay,
All right,
buddy.
take care.
Bye-bye.
All right, you're listening to 610 WIP's Rasslin Radio. We're on Rasslin Radio time, 8:51.
Autumn Armageddon 2, Philadelphia Civic Center, Pennsylvania Hall, Saturday, September 21st, 7:30 p.m. Gory, hallelujah. The main event, a barbed wire steel cage match. Abdul the Butcher takes on the original Sheik. The devil made him do it. Terry Funk versus Kevin Sullivan, accompanied to the ring by Fallen Angel. Mixed tag. Loser gets their head shaved. Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert and Medusa Machili take on Luna Vachon and Cactus Jack. It's First Blood. Bam Bam Bigelow going up against Dirty Doug Gilbert. Our New Japan match. Flying Owen Hart takes on Takayuki Iizuka. A TWA title match. The current champion, JT Smith, goes up against number 1 contender, DC Drake, managed by Woman. A TWA tag title match and a battle royal. Last Blood rules, Armageddon 1. The only one to not bleed is the winner. Autumn Armageddon 2. Saturday, September 21st, 7:30 p.m. Philadelphia Civic Center, Pennsylvania Hall. Make your reservations now. 745-8315. Check the Civic Center box office, the Ticketmaster outlets, but be there for Gory, hallelujah. Saturday, September 21st, 7:30 p.m. Be there!
Tennessee Tour 6. That's right, the Squared Circle is going back to Memphis, Tennessee for USWA Wrestling, January 10th to 14th, 1992. Make your reservations now for Tennessee Tour 6, 745-8315. Be a guest of Jerry Lawler and the USWA as we head south to Tennessee, January 10th to 14th, 745-8315 for Tennessee Tour 6. Oh, we're back here at 610 WIP's Rasslin Radio, and before I forget, I do want to thank Martin Darntucci for sitting in here last week and pushing the buttons while I was up in New York, and I just saw him walking through the hallway. I do want to thank him publicly for that, and Mark comes through for us every time we need him. 592-0610 in Pennsylvania, 963-0610 in New Jersey, and on the Bell Atlantic mobile system, a free call by just dialing star 610. And in the next couple of weeks, we'll be announcing some big news regarding the Tri-State Wrestling Alliance, our 18-city tour that will be happening from the 21st of September through Christmas. We're going to have a great time this fall, and if you're looking for some of the best in professional wrestling, the TWA is certainly the place to be at. 745-8315 is the phone number. They'll take your reservations right now for Autumn Armageddon 2. That's 745-8315. And as I said before, that 18-city tour, we'll kind of announce them little by little, and we won't have you send in a check for all 18 tickets because it'll cost you too much money. We'll kind of do it nice and slow. We'll build up like all the big boys do. All right, we go out to Newark, New Jersey. Clay, you're on Rasslin Radio.
Joe, good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
Good. Kevin, it's a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you very much.
Listen, you already answered one of the questions I had, but you were talking about the interview being the art form, really, of TV wrestling. Anyway, I work on Saturdays a lot, and I would tape 6 hours of wrestling, and I would fast forward through all the dog matches just to see the interviews of guys like yourself, Dusty Rhodes, and Ric Flair, who were the top 3 interviews of NWA, which is unfortunately history now, you know. You really, other than Terry Funk, you really haven't had anything bad to say about anybody. Who's some of the guys that you really don't like? That's what I want.
I mean, the guys that are left in the wrestling business now, the reason why it's hard for me to knock them, the cream of the crop is there's only a few of them left. Like, I've heard a lot of people. I haven't seen SummerSlam, but everybody I've talked to said it was excellent. I heard the match with Bret Hart and Mr. Perfect was one of the greatest matches of all times. I've heard nothing but good about it. I mean, there's a lot of guys I don't like. I mean, there's Eddie Gilbert. There's a guy I don't like personally because he's a little cocky individual, but I mean, he's very good at what he does. Getting back to the interviews, I have dare, maybe it's outdated. If you didn't have commercials that told you what to buy, would you be buying the cologne you're wearing? Would you be using the toothpaste you use? Interviews were based on one thing. They were to have the people come into the wrestling matches to draw them. I know that in North Carolina, there's a group of individuals that cut promos for about an hour, and people send in a lot of money to them. So without that, I think the art form of wrestling is hurt. And eventually, in the not too distant future, it's going to have to come back to that, because I know that myself personally, I used to just wait around even if the matches were over, and I could leave the studio if King Curtis was going to talk.
I know that, I was at a TV taping recently, and it's just not the same. I mean, there you got a guy, Lex Luger, the new world champion, and I told Joel this, he still can't talk. I mean, he's fumbling over his, he's like, he can't talk. I mean, he's got a big, pumped-up body, and that's all he's got. He can't do an interview.
Well, not coming to his defense, but if you don't ever get a chance to do something, it's hard to do it. It's like being a carpenter. If you're never given a hammer and nail, it's hard to drive the hammer and nail.
All right, Clay, we thank you for calling. And before we kind of wrap this thing up, I do want to remind people, summer's not summer until you experience a David Tours Crab Feast in Baltimore. The David Tours Crab Feast features, you got to see this thing, an all-you-can-eat buffet with open bar, dancing, and a whole lot more. And this year they have a special 4-hour Crab Feast cruise on the spectacular 500-passenger Bay Lady. They fill his boat up, and everybody's just sitting there having a great time, cruising the Baltimore Harbor as you eat, drink, and be merry. And their last one is coming up on Saturday, September 14th, so you better make your reservations now. 335-1300. They have pickup points available throughout the Philadelphia area. 335-1300. That's the number to David Tours, September 14th. Mark it down, 335-1300. And Kevin, we've got about 2 minutes left, and we talked about the lost art of the interview. So I'm going to give you about a minute and a half here of WIP's time. Now here you see the headphones have come off, the glasses have come off. Ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Sullivan.
Well, I want to talk about 4 individuals of darkness. First of all, in the barbed wire steel cage of September the 21st on Saturday, Abdullah the Butcher, the bad man from Sudan, the man that when he left his family, I'm not going to say it, but there are rumors that his mother and father are missing. And the rumor points out that Abdullah the Butcher might have had something to do with it. And then his opponent, none other than the original Sheik. When his mother was carrying the original Sheik, she crawled through the desert, squatted, and dropped the Sheik completely out. She himself bit the cord, left him there to die, and he crawled in the burning sands until the she-wolf came and dropped her udder for him. He reached up and sucked the lifeblood out of the she-wolf. He will be there in all his glory. And then Terry Funk, a rare individual, an individual from Texas, a place that thinks they're not the United States, and who thinks that he is the president of Texas. A family who has been the scorn of the wrestling world because not himself but his brother both held the world title. Well, Terry Funk, darkness will prevail at Glory, Glory, Hallelujah, the 21st of September, because Terry Funk, you have finally met your match, because darkness dwells inside of me, Terry Funk. And when I first of September, Terry.
The preceding program, Rasslin Radio, was paid for by Rasslin Radio. The opinions, advice, and information may or may not reflect the position of the management and owners of WIP Sports Radio.
The holiday weekend continues. We're talking sports on All Sports 610 WIP Philadelphia.
The nation's best sports station, WIP.
Didn't pay Oli. Okay, thanks a lot. Excuse me, ma'am. Do you find this whole thing a little bit confusing?
Just at the moment, because I haven't found my schedule. No, that's enough.
Excuse me, ma'am. Do you find this whole situation a bit confusing?
The brochures, yes. They're not very clear.
Do you know what you're going to be doing this week when they finally close down Reading?
I know nothing about this.
Well, the terminal will be closed. Do you know what train